You feel it every morning, that gnawing sensation that you're living someone else's life. The version of you that everyone knows, that comfortable mask you've worn for years, it's suffocating you. But what if I told you that in the next 9 minutes, you'll discover something most men will never learn? The art of strategic disappearance and complete reinvention. This isn't another generic, change your habits lecture. I'm about to show you a psychological framework that the top 1% of achievers use to engineer entirely new versions of themselves. The kind of transformation that makes old friends do a double take and competitors scramble to figure out what changed. The discipline required for this level of reinvention isn't taught in self-improvement books or motivational seminars. It's a closely guarded secret because it works. And today, you're going to learn exactly how to execute it. Let me paint you a picture of your current reality. You're caught in what I call the reputation prison. Every person in your life holds a voting share in who you're allowed to become. Your family sees you one way, your friends another, and your colleagues have their own version. Each expectation is a chain, and you've been dragging these chains for years. You've tried the conventional approach, reading self-help books, setting New Year's resolutions, making vision boards. But here's the brutal truth. Gradual change is a trap. It's like trying to rebuild a house while still living in it, and everyone keeps walking through your construction site, questioning every change you make. The real problem isn't your discipline or motivation. It's that you're attempting to transform while giving everyone a front row seat to your metamorphosis. And let's be honest, how many times have you started strong only to retreat back to your old self because someone raised an eyebrow or made a sarcastic comment about your changes? Let's dive into what I call the psychology of strategic disappearance. This isn't about running away. It's about creating the space needed for genuine transformation. Most men make the critical mistake of announcing their changes before they're ready. We're going to do the opposite, and I'll show you exactly why this counterintuitive approach works. First, you need to understand the concept of identity inertia. Your current self has momentum, habits, relationships, and daily patterns that actively resist change. The key to breaking this inertia isn't willpower. It's strategic isolation. Think of it like a special forces operator going dark before a critical mission. Every communication, every social interaction becomes intentional and purposeful. This level of discipline isn't comfortable, but it's necessary for profound change. Here's your first tactical framework, the mental preparation triangle. 1. Identity audit. Spend 3 hours alone, documenting every role you currently play: son, employee, friend, partner. Now, critically analyze which of these roles are chosen versus inherited. You'll be shocked to find that about 70% of your current identity was chosen for you, not by you. Go deeper. Examine the language you use, the way you carry yourself, even your reactions to stress. How many of these are authentic to you, and how many are programmed responses? 2. Core value extraction. Strip away every belief you've absorbed from others. I want you to write down your non-negotiable personal truths, not what your father taught you about success, not what society says about achievement. Your truth. This process is uncomfortable. Embrace that discomfort. It's the feeling of authentic self-discovery. Ask yourself, if you were the last person on earth, what would still matter to you? What principles would you maintain even if no one was watching? 3. Future self-integration. Most men skip this crucial step. You need to spend time mentally inhabiting your future identity. This isn't visualization, it's immersion. How does your transformed self make decisions? What questions does he ask himself? How does he respond to challenges? Document these characteristics in detail. Now, let's implement the 72-hour reset protocol. Day 1. Digital presence audit. Deactivate, don't delete, non-essential social media. Change your profile photos to neutral images. Archive or hide your digital history. Set up an automatic email response indicating a brief hiatus. Create a new, separate email address for your emerging identity. Document your current digital footprint for later reference. Day 2. Environment restructuring. You reorganize your physical space completely. Remove or store items that anchor you to your old identity. Create a dedicated transformation workspace. You establish new movement patterns in your living space. You rearrange furniture to break habitual behaviors. You install specific triggers for your new identity. Could be as simple as a new desk setup. Day 3. Communication boundary setting. Draft a brief message to close contacts explaining your need for space. Set up specific time windows for essential communication only. Create a new daily schedule that maximizes solitude. Establish clear rules for emergency-only interruptions. Develop a script for handling unexpected social interactions. Create a communication hierarchy. Who truly needs access to you? The key to this phase is absolute commitment. Half measures will cripple your results. This isn't about motivation or temporary self-improvement. It's about engineering an environment where transformation is the path of least resistance. Your old self should feel like a stranger in this new space you're creating. Now that you've created the void, let's master the science of rebuilding. This is where most men falter. They know how to tear down but lack the blueprint for reconstruction. I'm going to give you that blueprint, called the rebuild architecture. First principle: identity engineering isn't about addition, it's about subtraction. Every morning for the next 30 days, ask yourself, if I could keep only one habit, one relationship, one goal, what would survive the cut? This brutal editing process reveals what truly matters for your evolution. Let's break down the 3 pillars of reconstruction. 1. Neural pattern installation. Wake up 30 minutes earlier than usual, but here's the twist: don't do anything. Sit in complete silence. Write 3 sentences describing your new identity, using present tense only. Execute one small action that your future self would do before touching your phone. Repeat this sequence for 21 days without exception. The discipline here isn't in the actions, it's in the consistency. 2. Environment mastery protocol. You reorganize your workspace every 3 days. This prevents mental stagnation. Create what I call identity anchors, physical objects that represent your new self. You establish new routes to common destinations. Build a morning ritual that would be impossible for your old self to maintain. Set up what I call failure firewalls, environmental barriers that make old habits physically difficult to resume. 3. Strategic reemergence timing. Of day 1 to 30, complete isolation from non-essential contacts. Day 31 to 45, limited interaction, strictly controlled narratives. Day 46 to 60, selective reintegration with new boundaries. The key is maintaining what I call narrative discipline. Never explain your process, only demonstrate your results. Now, let's address implementation warfare, because resistance will come. Psychological defense tactics. Develop automated responses to criticism. Master the art of positive deflection. Create a progress firewall, documentation that proves your transformation. Build what I call a reality buffer, a 24-hour delay between external input and your response. Progress acceleration methods. Implement the 5-minute identity drill every morning. Use future self-journaling. Write entries dated 1 year ahead. Practice identity immersion, 2-hour blocks where you fully embody your new self. Execute micro-missions, small, daily tasks that align with your new identity. Maintain transformation momentum through daily progress tracking. The critical factor here is maintaining what I call identity coherence. Every action, thought, and decision must align with your new self. This isn't about motivation or temporary change. It's about fundamental reconstruction of who you are at your core. Picture this: 6 months from now, you walk into a room and there's a palpable shift in energy. Not because you're trying to command attention, but because you naturally emanate the quiet confidence of a man who has mastered himself. Your transformation isn't just visible, it's magnetic. The discipline you've developed through strategic disappearance has compounded into something remarkable. Your career trajectory has steepened because you're no longer playing by someone else's rulebook. Relationships have deeper meaning because you're operating from authentic strength, not inherited patterns. Every area of your life has undergone a fundamental upgrade because you had the courage to engineer your own evolution. But the real payoff? It's not just about what you've become. It's about what you now know you can become. You've mastered the art of self-improvement at its highest level. You possess a skill that most men will never even attempt to learn. the ability to strategically reinvent yourself at will. Right now, you're standing at a crossroads. You can close this video and continue being the man others expect you to be, or you can accept my challenge, the 14-day strategic disappearance protocol. Here's what I want you to do. Take out your phone. Set a reminder for 2 weeks from now. For the next 14 days, implement the exact framework I've shared. Start with the identity audit tomorrow morning. Execute the 72-hour reset protocol. Begin your reconstruction. No announcements, no social media updates, no progress reports. Just pure, focused discipline. When those 14 days are up, come back to this video. Share your transformation in the comments. Not for validation, but to show other men what's possible when you have the courage to disappear and rebuild. Remember, your greatest version isn't waiting to be discovered. It's waiting to be engineered. The next chapter of your story begins now.